Hey guys, how's it going? It's David from Scizor Explosion, and today I'm going to be bringing you a deck profile. Today we're going to be doing another Scizor deck, but this time it's going to be Scizor GX Drampa GX with that Shrine of Punishment stadium that came out in Celestial Storm. I think this is a very interesting build. I'm not 100% sure if it's my favorite build for Scizor, but it's something I'm trying out, and I've had some success with it, playing against my friends and all that. But we're going to get into this deck profile here real quick. I'd also like to share with y'all, we're going to be making some more deck profiles. We've got a Buzzwole Macargo deck coming, and that was a requested deck from one of our subscribers. And then we've got a Zygarde GX post-rotation coming, and I'm also working on a Zoroark variant. So we've got some more deck profiles on the horizon for y'all, so just stay tuned for that. Be sure and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel. And like and leave us a comment below, and let's get started. So to start out this deck, it is a Scizor deck. Scizor is one of your mainline attackers, so you've got to have 4 copies of Scyther. Scyther has the attack twin play. You may search your deck for up to Scyther and put them onto the bench with for the cost of a single colorless energy, which is really strong. And it's got 70 HP, so it's a little tanky for a basic Pokemon. I wish it would have had more. Maybe 110 would have been nicer. And then the attack agility for 2 energy can save you if you happen to not draw a Scizor or something like that. Flip a coin if heads, prevent all effects of attacks including damage done to this Pokemon for 20 damage. So yeah, it's not a bad attack, and but he's more of a stepping stone than an attacker. So 4 copies of Scyther. And then 3 copies of Scizor GX. Scizor GX is of course an awesome Pokemon in my opinion. I may be a little biased though, he is my favorite, but Danger Perception is a powerful ability. If this Pokemon remaining HP is 100 or less, it attacks to 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then Steel Wing for a metal energy and a colorless energy does 80 damage and prevents 30 damage done to Scizor on the next turn. Then Crosscut GX for 3 colorless energy, 100 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, this attack does 100 more damage. I really think this Pokemon has a lot of potential. When I was playing against some of my buds in our group, they couldn't see how I was dealing so much damage with Scizor, and it's from all the buffs he can get. There is Delmise in this deck, not as many as in my other variant of Scizor, but I do have a single Delmise copy in this deck, and he'll hit for 90, that's 120 with a choice band, and once they get me below 100 health, then I'll start hitting for 160, 170 with the Delmise, and then 200 with a choice band, so pretty high numbers. So 3 copies of Scizor GX. Our other main attacker in this deck is 2 copies of Drampa GX. Drampa GX has some pretty cool attacks. Righteous Edge is really strong. For 1 colorless energy, does 20 damage. Then you discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. That'll be really powerful in the upcoming format because a lot of decks are going to revolve around special energy. Then Berserk for 3 colorless energy does 80 damage, plus if your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, this attack does 70 more damage. And Big Wheel GX doesn't see a lot of play in my certain playstyle, but shuffle your hand to your deck and then draw 10 cards. It is another GX option that we have, but Drampa is good in this deck for 2 reasons. His Berserk can be really strong with the Shrine of Punishment. We can start putting damage counters on our bench Tapu Leles and our benched Scizors. And then, also, if we have both Drampas in play, one on the active, one on the bench, you can start getting damage counters on that. And then your Berserk will activate, and you'll start hitting 150 damage, 180 with the choice band. And then we do play other cards to make our attacks more powerful. So 2 copies of Drampa GX. For the one-of Pokemon in this deck, I run a single copy of Delmise. I've thought about bumping this up to 2, and then I bump it down to 1 again, and I just keep going back and forth on Delmise. But Steelworker has the ability that makes all your Metal-type Pokemon do 10 more damage, and Anchor Shot is irrelevant. But Steelworker is the main reason to play this card, and it just makes your Scizor hit for more damage. 1 on the bench is fine. If you prize it, that can be kind of bad, but you don't always need the Delmise in play. 1 copy of Delmise. Then 1 copy of the Registeel from Crimson Invasion. This Registeel has the attack Turbo Arm, and that's the main reason we play it. You attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and you hit for poke damage for 30. Well, it's not bad, and our main attackers both need 2 energy attachments in order to attack, so this Registeel can help us charge those attackers up and get them ready to come into the battle. We're still rocking the 1 copy of Duskmane Necrozma. It has that Dust Shot attack for a single colorless energy, 60 damage to one of your opponent's EX or GX Pokemon, and it's unaffected by weakness to resistance. With the Dhelmise in play, you can hit 70, and then with the Choice Band, you'll hit 100, as long as you're hitting the active Pokemon. But it's a really good starter for this deck. And then 1 copy of Oranguru with the Instructability for Draw Power, and he's also a non-GX stacking option as well. To finish off the Pokemon line, we have the 2 copies of Tapu Lele GX for the Wonder Tag ability, and Energy Drive to smack your opponents for a little bit of damage. We do have double colorless energy in this deck, so Energy Drive is an attacking option. So 2 copies of Tapu Lele, and that finishes off our Pokemon. On to the supporters. We play 4 copies of Cynthia, the obligatory draw supporter of this format. This is probably the best draw supporter in the format after rotation, which is just a couple days away. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. Next up, we have 3 copies of Guzma. Guzma, you can switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of their active, and then if you do, you can switch your active with one of your benched. Or you must switch your active with one of your benched. It's that card that lets you target down your opponent's Pokemon and bring them onto the field and start knocking them out, taking those prizes. Next up, 2 copies of Tate and Liza. Tate and Liza is probably the second best draw supporter. I've started to cut Copycat out of a lot of my decks. I found it can be unreliable at times, and your opponents can find easy ways around it. They can just keep their hands really small, maybe 2 or 3 cards. And when you have 5 cards in your hand, you really don't want to go down to 2 or 3. So Tate and Liza is probably the next best option. You can choose 1, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 5. Or you can switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched. It's a very good card. It offers versatility and options. It is an option if you have a Drampa stuck in the active. You don't really want to discard that double colorless energy to retreat it. So Tate and Liza can be there to help you switch your Pokemon out. So 2 copies of Tate and Liza. 2 copies of Judge. Judge is really good. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 4 cards. It can be a situational card because most people don't want to judge themselves down to 4. So use it at your own risk, but it can be powerful to help block your opponent. Sometimes it's a good first turn card too. If you have a hand that you're just able to go off, and then the last card left in your hand is a Judge. Judge your opponent down to 4, and their starting turn they have to start out with 5 cards. So 4 copies of Judge. And then the last supporter is 2 copies of Lily. Lily is a great card. I love it on the first turn. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. If it's your first turn, you can draw until you have 8. So Lily is just really powerful. You can empty your hand out, use your Ultra Balls, your Nest Balls to get those Pokemon into play, and then just draw as many as you can up to 8. And that's it for our supporter line. Next, for the items, we play 4 copies of Ultra Ball, the normal search card for any Pokemon deck. Discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Pokemon and reveal it, add it to your hand. Now, in this deck, we play 4 copies of Choice Band. Unlike my other variant of Scizor, I do not play Metal Frying Pan in this deck. And the reason why is because you want Choice Band attached to your Pokemon as often as you can. Because you want to hit for as many numbers, as many high numbers as you can. You're going for damage in this deck. You have your Shrine of Punishment to deal 10 damage to all the EXs and GXs every turn, or between each player's turn. So really, when it comes back to your turn, you're dealing 20 damage to all the EXs and GXs. Plus the Choice Bands will do another 30, and you'll start hitting those really high numbers. So 4 copies of Choice Band. 3 copies of Nest Ball. Nest Ball's for the setup, so we can get all our basics into play. This is an evolution deck after all, and we do need our Scizors and we need our Scythers rather in play. We need our Drampas in play, maybe our Oranguru in play, so we start getting draws with his ability Instruct, or maybe the Registeel, so he can start stacking energies on our Pokemon that are from the discard pile. So 3 copies of Nest Ball. 2 copies of Switch. Switching is invaluable during this format. We have lost Floatstone. It is gone, and hopefully it gets reprinted, but I don't see that happening with us having a skateboard. But I really didn't want to play a skateboard in this deck, and Switch has been working just fine for me. So 2 copies of Switch. Now for the one-ofs, I play 1 copy of Max Potion. Okay, I know that a lot of these Pokemon take a lot of energy, but just stick with me for a second. Max Potion heals all damage from one of your Pokemon, but you have to discard all energy attached to it. You have Shrine of Punishment in this deck, and you could potentially build up a lot of damage on some of your Pokemon. Maybe you have a Tapu Lele that has 100 damage on it, and it can be easily Guzma'd up and knocked out by your opponent. Or maybe you have a Drampa that has maybe 1 energy attached to it on the bench, and it's getting ready to get knocked out. Just Max Potion. We play other things in this deck. We do have the Registeel, as I mentioned, to recharge your energy. You can't get back those special energies, unfortunately. We've lost Special Charge after the rotation. But you do have the Registeel to recharge your metal energy. We do play Energy Recycling System in this deck. It is a card I'll show you here in just a second. But Max Potion come in clutch sometimes. So 1 copy. I didn't want to play any more than 1. It's just a 1-of tech, and I have the room for it, so I thought I might try it out. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher to get back those Pokemon that we get knocked out. Put a Pokemon from discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from discard pile into your deck. 1 copy of Energy Recycle System. Energy Recycle System is really good because we only play 8 metal energies in this deck, and we want to be able to get those back into the deck if we need them. We do have the Registeel there to recharge. We only play a 1-of, so he's not super reliable. But this can help you get that energy into your hand. Maybe you have a Scizor that just needs 1 more energy to attack, or a Drampa that has 1 more energy needed to attack. Get that energy back from the discard pile and start charging up your Pokemon. And the last item we play is 1 copy of Palpad. Palpad has started appearing in a lot of my decks. It's just really good. In lieu of Puzzle of Time being banned, Palpad can help. I'm working on a Zoroark variant, and Palpad's just necessary in that deck. It's necessary in a lot of my decks, I feel. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below if you think Palpad's necessary in a lot of decks. That's it for the items. We play 3 copies of Shrine of Punishment. Shrine of Punishment is an amazing card, but sometimes it can be a double-edged sword. Between turns, put 1 damage counter on each EX and GX Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So you start stacking damage on all the EXs and GXs in play. Your Scizors, your Drampas, your Leles will all take damage in between turns. And it is a good and a bad thing. The good part is it activates Drampa's Berserk attack, and it also it gets you closer to activating your Danger Perception ability with your Scizor. So Shrine of Punishment also helps you knock out your opponent's Pokemon a lot easier. It puts those damage counters on those Pokemon and starts. You bring up your Scizor and all of a sudden it feels like you're hitting for 140, 150. So yeah, Shrine of Punishment is an amazing card. I really like it. But like I said, I'm not sure if this is the perfect build for Scizor. I'm still testing it out and getting some more playing in on it. And I've had some success with this deck, and we'll just see how it goes from there. So 3 copies of Shrine of Punishment. And now for the energy, we play 4 8 metals and 4 double colorless energy. And that is all. So that's the deck profile, guys. I've got some other decks coming your way. I've got no more variants of Scizor yet. I haven't thought of anything, but I am working on a Rayquaza variant with Vikavolt in there. And as I was saying before, a buddy of mine is working on Buzzwole Macargo, and it looks very promising. We played a few rounds that he just wants to get the build down just right, and then we'll profile it for you guys. Then another buddy of mine's working on a Shiftry GX deck. We're going to get that up as soon as we can. And I'll be working on a Zygarde GX post-rotation deck. So y'all let us know what you think in the comments below. If there's any decks you wanted us to profile. Like I said, the Buzzwole Macargo was a requested deck, and I'll give a shout-out to that requester in that deck profile. If there's any other decks you would like to see, let us know. We'd be happy to get that down. We didn't even think of Buzzwole Guard before somebody asked us about it, and now all of a sudden it's one of my friend's favorite decks. He loves Macargo in that deck. But y'all let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll get some more videos up to y'all. This is David from Scizor Explosion, and we'll see you all next time.